So my name is Axel Anza, and I guess I'll give you a little bit of history of who I am. I was born in Mexico, in Monterrey, and I came to the U.S. when I was 7.
A little louder, Axel.
When I was 7. And I graduated in '06 from Northeast School of the Arts and Lee, and I graduated from SAC in 2008, I guess. And right now I'm currently finishing my 4th year, and next semester I'll be starting my 5th year at UT, trying to complete my Bachelor's of Architecture. So what I'm going to try and do today is I am going to talk a little about the university and then talk about my portfolio. Because I think it's more important to you what I have done at SAC and what I've done at UT. And I think that's more relevant to you than what the university has to offer in general. But I have a video I want to show you guys that's a kind of good preview of what UT is.
Yes, thanks, Mike.
Louder.
Somewhere the sound is muted.
Architecture is, in a sense, a type of art, but it's different because this is actually inhabitable. You can actually engage architecture and be in the space that you create.
There's definitions for architecture. One of them is that architecture is supposed to be called. One of the things that I think is possible, and there's not a better sense of that than practice. I was here, 1952.
San Antonio
It was
architect.
a very interesting period. We had great professors. We did a lot of big problems. I mean, people hung over for the last one, and we finally did work out about the 3rd or 4th week, and then we could try to utter exhaustion by the time the project was over.
The curriculum we have now hasn't really changed very much from what it was before. So we're actually following a kind of design process that was happened so many years ago. And it's so unique to that
Definition of sustainability, things of that nature. You can sort of just use the catchphrase of the day you want, but don't be hold you accountable for that. Understand that it's deeper than that. The issues are just sort of mounting on a daily basis. We expect to be able to solve them.
I'm fortunate that I teach design studio. The most
Okay.
exciting part of something you can is teaching is really and getting to know the students.
When you're in school, you're lucky if you get one or 2 or even 3 professors that have an impact on the community. We're fortunate there were a number of people coming from around the world, plus a number of people from here in Texas. And I think a mix of people who had an international perspective and a local perspective is quite crucial here.
What bridge is that? None of you know? Ponte Vecchio.
Basically, we'll be studying in Switzerland, Austria, Italy, and finally staying for an actual studio in Paris. You have to go abroad. You have to experience the culture. You can't just grow up in a suburb and then come to college here and stay in the studio and expect to go out and be able to do fun.
Well, it's quite easy to get caught into an everyday pattern, into one urban environment, to one climatic environment. Travel abroad opens different horizons, stories, just in terms of experiencing different cultures and such, as well as being exposed to different kinds of buildings and building techniques.
I can solve problems more creatively, locally, if I'm exposed to a more global knowledge.
So we were always spending our time in the studio.
I went to school with him. He's practicing in Iran.
In a design studio, we tend to make very close relationships with people, and there are friendships that I have still to this day. You know that, okay, the person across the room, like, I can just go ask them randomly about my project, and they will give me a different viewpoint, and if someone else over there, I love it. We're always like feeding off of each other.
Everyone is really trying to do their best, and trying to be their best, they're looking over their shoulder at their But we're also very collaborative. We work with each other, and we
I've never seen one.
drawing techniques, modeling techniques, how to work with different software. All your ideas around here.
understanding of architecture, and then also practical considerations.
Some people will lean towards creating really beautiful spaces that push the boundaries of what we define architecture as, and others will be more about charity and giving back and public housing or urban studies. So,
It's really the two things. I mean, I guess the best architects do both at the same time. You can make compelling buildings that are beautiful and progressive while addressing an important need in our society that is not only for wealthy clients, but for people who really actually need shelter.
The School of Architecture is truly adapted, like engaged in some of the most pressing social and environmental issues of our day. Students that come through the School of Architecture leave with the set of intellectual capacity and skills
Hey, who's that?
to tackle on those.
Did y'all see him? Can they find that online, Axel?
Yes, they can. Program is the Bachelor of Architecture, which has about 253 students. Another important thing is the student-faculty ratio is 13:1. So for every professor, there's around 13 students. And I would recommend you to not just apply to UT, but to apply to at least 3 of the other schools up there. UT is the most affordable school in the top 10. So, you know, it's a little bit better, and it's in Texas, but as you can see, Rice University is also up there.
And you see Pratt?
Pratt.
We were just talking about number 9, right?
So I'd encourage anybody to just apply to these schools, because you just, applying is just the best way. And then here's the website, soa.utexas.edu, and you can watch the video by clicking the link under the logo. You only apply on March the 1st, because they only take in fall-only enrollment. And you need to actually have taken architecture classes before applying. You have to take 30 hours before March the 1st, so you have to have at least 2 semesters before applying. And the most important thing that I was told by professors and counselors was to really focus on the essay. And if you want to apply for March, I recommend that you start writing the essay now and have several professors review it, because that essay is one of the most important things to look at. And also, of course, the portfolio. It can be no larger than 8.5 by 11. And one of the things that I want to emphasize a lot is that they want you to demonstrate visual and spatial abilities. They don't care about the architecture that you've made. They're not interested if you've done work beforehand, if you've done design houses, if you've designed homes and you have technical drawings. They don't care about that. All they care is that you can represent your ideas visually to put in those drawings, because you've done some professional drawings. But they're not really interested in that.
And by professional, you mean professional practice?
Yeah, like actual CAD drawings of sections, details that you've made in actual life. So they're not really interested in that, because they're going to teach you their version of architecture. So they're not really interested in what you've come up with. So in the portfolio, you should show your original work, your spatial ability, and your experience with hand drawing and model making. So I would recommend you do more models by hand than by 3D, because they're all going to teach you that. You have classes where they're going to teach you the programs that they want you to learn, and they're going to teach you the programs that they want you to draft in. So I would highly recommend to just focus on hand drawings, sketchy drawings, and handmade models. And I think that would be your best shot at really impressing them. Also, some classes you should probably take before you go to UT. You don't have to take them. I didn't take most of these before I transferred. Of course, one of them is calculus. They're not really interested in what you're going to learn in calculus, but how you have to think to understand what calculus is about. And then physics 1, physics 2, they want you to take English, government, history, all those things that you already have to take anyways. So I would recommend you really taking calculus here, because calculus at UT is extremely hard.
You had to do it,
And
right?
I'm barely a survivor of that class. So take physics, also 1 and 2. And if you don't take it, you can probably take it during the summer while you're at UT. So this is another important thing I'm going to show you, and you will get to see what other students are actually doing, which is, I think, pretty cool. And I have some copies up there if you guys want to pass around and look at them. So this is another good resource. You can look at it, what kind of work is being done at UT.
Y'all can pass those around if you wish.
Yeah. So now I'm going to focus all on my portfolio that I made at SAC, what I have made at UT, and then I'm going to focus on a class called Sound Building, which is one of the most important classes at UT. And hopefully you get an idea of what it is that they like to see in a portfolio, since that's one of your best shots. Is your portfolio, the essay, and I forgot to say, 2 letters of recommendation. They really look at how a professor describes your way of designing and who you are as a person. So I would recommend you to really get to know a professor, and hopefully they'll give you a really good letter of recommendation. I have to say, my letter of recommendation was really good from Bohuslav, so if I can give credit to someone, I think it's because of him that I got into UT, I think personally. So this is my cover letter. I like simple page layouts. When you look at designing the layout of your portfolio, I recommend you just looking at graphic design firms and work. Don't look at architects and how they present their work. Just look at graphic designers, because they're actually much better at presenting their ideas. So I got a lot of my compositions from graphic designers. So this is design 1. Before I came to UT, I had a friend who recommended me to take 2 professors at UT. They told me, if you can do this, I'd recommend you to do this. They told me, take Bohuslav for design 1 and for design 3 specifically. And if you have a chance to take Connor for design 4, then go for it. Because of the ideologies that they teach, they're a little bit different, but they're really good for you to understand both of them. So I took Dwayne for my design 1, and I'm sure you guys have seen these kind of drawings. In my portfolio, I didn't have any writing because I wanted to be able to show my drawings and have them speak for themselves. And if you can't explain your project without putting writing, then I think you failed to show, or I think your drawings have failed to show what your project is about. So this is some of the studies that I made. I really try not to put a lot of information in some of these pages. This is probably the best project and best model I've made in my career. Bohuslav says that this is probably the best model you'll ever make.